here with Amy Ralston at the Influencer Marketing Show London, and we are just having a little catch up after your session. So Amy, what has been your highlight of the show so far?
Well, the session was really enjoyable. It was so great. It was nice to hear from the other panelists as well about their experiences. But with the highlight, I'd have to say meeting all the lovely people here, like really interesting, lovely. Everyone's been super approachable and like really knowledgeable, and it's good to sort of share best practice with all the attendees.
Yes, I agree. It's great to meet lots of new people and faces that we've been seeing on email.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Everything.
It's nice to put like real life and see how tall people are.
I know, that's a huge thing. So yeah, recently we've seen the introduction of the ISPA Code of Conduct, and the Creators Legal have launched a contracting sort of template and bits like that. What do you think will be the next big step in influencer marketing licensing?
So we spoke about this quite a lot during the session, and I think that a big next step will be education. So making sure that the influencers, the agencies and the brands are educated, they understand what the rules are to do with advertising when you're posting on social media and advertising content on social media and products, and also actually understanding intellectual property and what it is, because content that you create is intellectual property, and navigating those rights, what those rights are, who has claims in the content as well. So I think making sure that actually that we take those next steps to appreciate how far the influencer marketing industry has come. It's grown exponentially at such a rapid pace that now the legals need to catch up and the education needs to catch up. So I actually provide training for businesses, influencers and agencies about what the rules are and how to build a strategy for influence marketing and making sure that everyone is best protected.
Brilliant, yeah, definitely. Now, like you say, there's more people than ever in the influencer industry, so just ramping up the education is important. So for somebody that's new into content creation, growing as an influencer, what would you say is the best way to ensure that you're not falling for a contract that's maybe not quite fair?
Yeah, there have been some horror stories where content creators have been caught out and have assigned their rights over to a brand unknowingly for an indefinite period of time, which obviously is a situation you don't want to find yourself in unknowingly if that's not what you intended to happen. So I think understanding what the terms of the contracts mean, investing that time and seeking specialist advice, whether that is through an agency, whether that is a legal advisor such as myself, and an IP professional that can give you proper advice to understand actually what these clauses mean and what the implications are as well for the content creators. I think that
perfect. Yes, great advice. So what do you think will be some of the main challenges for the influencer marketing industry over the coming year?
I think we'll continue to see non-compliance with the ASA rules. There's been a lot that has happened actually. I know TikTok and the Advertising Standards Authority have recently collaborated together to create a really helpful guidance for content creators, which is worth looking up. But also it'll be interesting to see whether everything stays on Instagram or whether we move to new platforms as well. So I appreciate there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's OnlyFans, YouTube. There's a whole array of places to choose from, but maybe there'll be something else that pops up. TikTok came from nowhere, so we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly, no, you're so right. TikTok did come up out of the blue, and it's just where everything is
and now. Yeah, everyone's
exactly.
on it.
So similar to that question, what do you think will be one of the main topics of discussion at the Influence Marketing Show next year?
So yeah, again, it could be what is the big platform, what's the platform of the moment. But I think, unfortunately, and I don't want to sound cynical, but it could be some horror stories, some things where actually people find that they've got contracts in place that aren't fit for purpose, or they look back at their contracts and they think, actually, Amy, when you said about that, I looked at it and I realised that actually I had done this thing, or it wasn't quite fit for purpose. So it'll be interesting to have those conversations next year to see what the topic is. And I hope that we come back and we find people are getting training, the creator marketplace is upskilling, and we've got businesses have actual strategies in place when they're onboarding influencers, when they're getting the commercials right, and also their marketing team to be able to self-police as well influencers that might not be complying with the rules, and maybe if that's unknowingly, so they can work together as an influencer and a brand and or an agent to actually spot that, rectify it, and mitigate the risk of breaching the rules.
Yeah, definitely. I think a year gives plenty of time for there to be a lot more education about licensing, etc. So fingers crossed that's what will happen.
Hope.
Well, thank you for joining me today,
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. It's been a pleasure.